Also, we have a child psychiatrist who helps them to regain their confidence.
Nadia Bastien is the person responsible for this. She uses drawings to get closer to the children and decipher their feelings.
We use drawings so that the children can tell us their experiences through time. In some cases, the drawings are very clear, and it's easy to see how they feel and all that they've had to go through. While in others, it's not so clear, and we have to search out the information that is hiding in the background. But all of them have something to do with their parents, their guardians, their experiences, their possible suffering. Some children draw a flower for their father as a symbol of thanks or of filial love. With this, we get the children to speak.
Yvette d'abord va me raconter son dessin, qui elle a dessiné. Vas-y, Yvette. C'est qui sur ton dessin?
Dans un village, il y a un monsieur.
The intermediary may be a man who returns to the village after having gone off for 2 or 3 years. In the village, he'll do anything to get people's attention so that they'll say, "Have you seen that man who's been away? Look at what he's achieved." He'll tell the parents, for example, "If you want to give me your son, no problem. I'll make sure he gets an education, and I can guarantee his well-being." No. Here things aren't like that. Here in Africa, we start working at a young age. It's the best thing for the child. The parents want the best for their children, and that's why they give them as a vie de maison. I don't give the parents anything. It was my brother who took my girl, with my consent. But I didn't know that she was going to work or that she would be leaving the country. These people have brought our daughters back to us. They are the ones who told us she was in Nigeria. We didn't know anything. I don't think my experience as a vie de maison was the only one. I think the majority of the politicians of my generation, that is, those over 60s, were actually vie de maison too. It was wartime, and our parents lived in small villages out in the country. Many of them sent their children to the city, to Porto Novo or Cotonou, so that they would become those who write. Nowadays, this practice has been radically distorted. It is the guardian who proposes taking care of the child, who gives something to the parents, as if they were buying them.
I didn't want her to leave. He was the one who made the decision. I told him that the girl should be with her parents.
It's true I like to drink, but that's not what made me give up my daughter. Ignorance was to blame. These children haven't had access to any of their basic rights, not food, education, or clothing, or the necessary emotional support, nothing. So they're going to grow up into adults who hold an enormous hatred for the situations they've been through, and which sooner or later they're going to express.
Okay.
We are teaching them how to behave, how to stay with the public, how to eat, wash hands, wash their faces, and to clean themselves. We take the toilet activities. So that's what we do in the baby classes.
In addition to this education, all of these children have something else in common. They are orphans whose parents died of AIDS. Many of them are also carriers of the HIV virus. In Uganda, there are almost 1 million people suffering from AIDS, less than 5% of the country's total population. A low figure if we compare it with countries like South Africa or Namibia, which exceed 20%, or Botswana, with 36% of the population infected. For some years, Uganda has been applying preventative educational measures, and the results can be seen in these comparative figures. But if we put comparisons to one side and focus on the drama of everyday life, the figures continue to be alarming. 1 million sufferers means thousands of deaths each year, thousands of broken families or homeless children, or even heirs to the disease. Stories like those of these children. Akagia Ashirat, 7 years old. His mother died of AIDS in 2001, and his father died in a traffic accident in 2002. He lives with his aunt. He carries the virus and suffers frequent bouts of malaria. Junior Idiru, 4 years old. His father died of AIDS, and his mother sells fruit in the market. He lives with her. Patricia Nauyanzi, 7 years old. Her mother was a prostitute in Kampala and died in 2000. She lives with her grandmother. She suffers frequent bouts of malaria. Jalia Kawadele, 3 years old. Her father died of AIDS in 2000 and her mother lives in the Congo, but nobody knows where. She is a carrier of the virus. She lives with her aunt. But these children, these in particular, have hope. They are the exception. Other hundreds of thousands of African children wander the streets of the large cities or are used as cannon fodder.
Buki's like my brother, my best friend. He helps me with many things. He takes me to school, and when my mother gets sick, he takes her to the hospital. When I get a job where I have to carry rubble or trash, he does the hardest part. But we also go for walks or have races. He's always with me.
Abdul is 12 years old and lives on the island of Lamu, located off the north coast of Kenya. Abdul is an orphan and helps his uncle Bumbi work the family's dhow. These old sailing vessels still serve as the means of transport among the Indian Ocean coastal islands today.